Um, so here we go. Donald Trump tries to move election day. So I'm going to read you tweets, then I'm going to tell you why it can't happen. Then I'm going to tell you why it might happen. There is one scenario in which case it would happen. And when I tell you it, you're going to be like, no. And then ultimately, I'm going to tell you why it might actually be positive news. Lots of twists and turns in this story. So first, let's read you Donald Trump's tweet. That he did this morning. He says, with universal mail-in voting, not absentee voting, which is good because he did mail-in voting. And now he's like, no, that's not mail-in voting. I mailed it in, but it's absentee voting. Big difference. Not really. Anyway, he goes, 2020 will be the most and then now in caps, inaccurate and fraudulent election in history. It hasn't happened yet. And how do you know it's going to be inaccurate and fraudulent? And you're the president. You could actually take rational action to prevent a fraudulent election if you think it's going to happen. Even if you weren't involved in that election, you should take action to prevent it from happening if you already know that it's going to be fraudulent. Isn't that a strange thing for a president to say, especially if you're involved in the race? Nah, he's just making stuff up, throwing it up against the wall. I'm gonna lose. That's basically what this is. I can't wait to get to the told yous. I can't wait to tell you what Fox News analyst said about it. Anyway, let me keep going. He says, it will be a great embarrassment to the USA. Delay the election until people can properly and securely and safely vote? Question mark, question mark, question mark. Okay, he put those in there. No, we're not going to delay the election. And you can't delay the election. But first, the told yous. Told you, he doesn't care about democracy. Okay. Oh, our system of government. He doesn't care at all. If he could, he'd move that date. He'd move it so quick and he'd move it to never. That's where he'd move it. He'd keep moving it out more and more and more, trying to get an advantage. Can I increase my polling? Let me get the Fed to lower rates again. Can the Fed go to minus interest rate? I don't know. I'll try to force them into it. I'll just wait for coronavirus to magically disappear. Then I'll have the election. Get out of here. By the way, I love the smell of Trump panic in the morning. Like when he gets up in the morning, he's so insecure. He's such a wreck. That gives me great comfort. Like he's the president of the United States, theoretically a billionaire. He should be the happiest guy on earth. He should have, the right wing's like, oh man, he lives rent free inside your head. No, dude, he lives rent free inside his own head, man. Okay, he's like, what's happening? I'm gonna lose. Oh my God, what the hell? That's how he wakes up. What's Fox News saying? What's Joe Scarborough saying? I don't care about Joe. He's losing in the ratings. Oh, what is he saying though? What is he saying? That's how he wakes up. I love it. I love that panic. And it's right away. The minute he wakes up, he's in a cold sweat over what a disaster he is. He knows it. He knows what a disaster he is. Okay, so, in fact, I'll tell you right now, Chris Steyerwalt, diehard right winger on Fox News, who we have picked apart many times before. He sees this, he goes on Fox News, he's like, it's weakness. Donald Trump knows how weak his position is, and screaming out like this just telegraphs how weak you are. Yes! Even Fox News is like, okay, the guy's pathetic. He's pathetic. Okay, so number one, he doesn't care about democracy. Told you. Number two, he doesn't do his homework. I've told you this 1,000 times. And look, if you're anti-Trump, you already get it, right? Although you probably enjoy like when he does a cell phone like this, which I'll explain the cell phone in a second. But if you're a Trump supporter, or you're somewhere in the middle, you don't watch much news or whatever, you really at this super late date, you don't get how unintelligent he is, how unprepared he is, and why do we absolutely bungle protective equipment, testing, tracing, coronavirus? Why are we never lead the world in coronavirus cases and deaths? It's because the guy doesn't do his homework. He's supposed to be president. He's supposed to protect all of us, but he doesn't care to do that. He's like, when do I get to play golf? I want to watch TV. He's such a little baby. Anyways, so what do you mean? What do I mean in this case that he doesn't do his homework? Well, all you had to do was ask anybody. In fact, you could have just Googled But you're the president. You have thousands of people on your staff. Just ask one person. You wake up in a cold sweat, panic. Oh, God, I'm a loser. I'm going to lose. Jared, can you look up something for me? Stephen Miller, can you look up something for me? Ask them. Ask them. They're not the brightest bulbs, but they're smarter than you, and they have access to Google. So can a president delay an election? The answer is really simple. No. It's the law that the election is to be held on November 3rd. How do you change the law? Oh, you need a bill. Like the guy didn't even watch those little cartoons after the Super Friends. Okay. We all saw it when we were kids. We all saw it when we took high school civics class or junior high. You have to have a law. How do you pass a law? He's president. He doesn't know how to pass a law. He's president for 4 years. Okay, you have to have both houses of Congress pass the law and then the president sign it into effect. Now, do you think the Democrats in the House are going to pass a law saying, oh, sure, let's move the election day to help Donald Trump? And this is where I go, oh, no, what if they did? Okay, so this is one of the twists. I was like, obviously that can't happen. And I was like, the Democrats have really let him have almost everything he wanted. The defense bills, the spying on us, you name it, Nancy Pelosi has given it to Donald Trump. She wouldn't move the election for him, would she? Oh boy. Okay. I mean, if anyone could snatch defeat from the jaws of victory, it's the Democratic Party. So yes, it would be insane and unthinkable, and maybe at that point, the media and the Democratic base overall might go, maybe she's not a genius, right? But even then, I'm not positive. They're like, oh, genius move to keep Donald Trump in office for 4 more years. Nancy Pelosi nailed it. But look, I was going to say kidding aside. It's not kidding. There's nothing the Democrats couldn't bungle. They lost to him in the first place in 2016. One of the least intelligent people in the country, and they lost to him. Anyway, but 99% chance that will not happen. Even Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer and all those idiots aren't that stupid, are they? Anyway, and yes, the world would come down on them if they agreed with Trump to move the election. I mean, that is just beyond unimaginable. And if you're wondering why Pelosi gives them all this stuff anyway and doesn't seem to really do much, it's because she raises so much money because Donald Trump's in office. Donald Trump's the boogeyman. And I went like this to him and I tore up some papers and I wagged my finger at him like, yes! And they throw millions of dollars at her and the Democratic Party. But even so, my guess is they would lose that money if they helped Trump to actually stay in office. So there are bounds of reasons. So now, it's not just legal, though. It's also constitutional. So even if he were to move it, he cannot move it past January 2nd. Well, January 19th. Okay, so Congress has to be sworn in on January 3rd. But the president's new term must begin on January 20th. And that's based on the United States Constitution. So that one, even Nancy Pelosi couldn't change. What they would have to do is they'd have to pass a constitutional amendment to change that. There is a 0% chance that they're going to pass a constitutional amendment to change that in this amount of time. That is beyond zero. No chance at all. So obviously you have to have the election before January 20th. It's a constitutional mandate. Even the Democrats couldn't bungle that. He didn't check. He didn't check to see what the law was. He didn't check to see how to change the law. He didn't check to what was in the Constitution. He didn't check to see what he could do about the Constitution. He has all of these, I say thousands, literally tens of thousands of people at his disposal on his staff. He's the most powerful man on earth. He also has Google at his disposal. You have Twitter on your phone, presumably. You also have Google on your phone. Check Google. Okay? So, he's like, oh, I'm thinking about moving the election, dude. What an embarrassment. What an unbelievable embarrassment. Okay. Now, final thing is, why could this be good news? That's a twist. Well, because idiot right-wingers will listen to anything Trump says. So hold. By the way, I want to thank Uygur Evlo. Avlonos, sorry about the name pronunciation, and Nikki Diraskogo, who are Young Turks members. When I do the live videos, I see all your Young Turks YouTube member names. If you hit the join button below on YouTube, that's a great way of supporting the show. Rum did it, thank you. And you all get badges, so I can see the badges even at $1.99. Hi, right back at you, Nikki. But at $4.99 you get the post game, and you get so much more of our coverage, and you get the stories first. At $9.99, and not a reference to Herman Cain, who passed away today, you get all of our videos and all of our shows. Easygoing guys, thank you. Rick Marusa, thank you. I think it was Nikki Taylor, thank you. Yeah, Herman Cain has passed away, Rick. So last thing on Trump. April O'Neil, thank you. Rick Marusa, there you go again. Rick, love you right back. And April, we're happy to have you as a supporter. Okay. Look, guys, by the way, James Doss, thank you, brothers. David Maloney, you're TYT member number 7. That's awesome. I love it. And now it's going by too fast, but I see all your names, and I see it, by the way, when I'm talking about the rest of the news too, because it keeps popping up, and I love you guys. You make this show possible. Rick O'Neil just became a supporter. Thank you, brother. So final thing on why it could be good news. Because those guys will listen to anything he says. He told them not to wear a mask. They didn't wear a mask. They started dying, and they still didn't wear a mask. Herman Cain died today. He didn't wear a mask at Trump's Tulsa rally. And they still keep going, right? They'll listen to anything he says. Like he said, he could shoot somebody on Fifth Avenue and get away with it. Well, with his supporters, unquestionably, he could get away with it. So if he says to them, oh, I want to have the elections later, maybe the schmucks won't show up on November 3rd. I mean, it's D-Rod 16, thank you for becoming an Essentials member. That's even better. So, you know, the right wing used to do this thing where they say, they send out flyers to people. Now, remember, Republicans vote on Tuesday, Democrats vote on Wednesday. Okay, it's like an old trick that they've done for a long, long time, and it's illegal, and they shouldn't do it. And of course, they don't care, and they do it anyway. It's one of their many, many dirty tricks. But Trump is kind of doing it to himself, because if he says, you know, the election should be held later, a lot of his voters might be like, oh yeah, this was not legitimate. I'm not even going, dude. It's not even legitimate. I'm going to go to the one they're going to hold later. That would be the biggest self-own of all time. It would be awesome. Stanley St. Amon, thank you for becoming a member, okay? So if he clowned himself, I swear to you, I mean, look, as I said, Democrats helping him delay the election, I was like, there's like a 0.1% chance that could happen, because they're the worst, right? But in terms of Trump telling his supporters this election is not legitimate and it's fraudulent, and then some of them not voting based on that or thinking that there's a later election, that's not a 1% or a 0.1% chance. That's 10%, and every time he says it, it gets higher and higher and higher. So, Jamie Brown, thanks for becoming a member. Appreciate it. And all of you, thank you for using YouTube Super Chat as well, including Timothy Hatton and John Uri says Trump is a fraud. You're absolutely right. He's the one that's a fraud. But in this case, him being a fraud might actually help us. I'm telling you, he's going to accidentally actually bring down voter turnout on his own side. By the way, Hillary Clinton did this last time. So, and people say, oh, you know, you say Trump is so stupid, but, you know, Democrats lost to him, so how stupid are they? I totally agree. I mean, if you lose to this guy, you should never show your face in town again. And that's not just Hillary Clinton, it's the entire Democratic establishment. They lost to a serial bungler. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. Jarius, thank you for being a member. Anyway, so and Hillary Clinton told people, "Oh, I'm going to win anyway. Don't worry about it. I'm going to win. I'm going to win." So people are like, "Oh, I guess she's going to win." So I could vote for Green Party. I could not vote. I could not show up. I got to eat a ham sandwich. She just suppressed her own vote and then lost by 78,000 votes. Now Trump's doing it. This election is BS. I'm not going to really listen to the election. It might be on a different day. It's fraudulent. Don't worry about it. It doesn't count. Great. Keep saying that, because no progressive voters certainly going to listen to you. No Democratic voter, I don't think, is going to listen to you. I don't think independents are going to listen to you. But your own voters definitely might listen to you. So keep going, brother. But he has no chance, almost no chance of changing the law, and he has absolutely no chance of changing the Constitution. So this election is definitely happening. Okay. So don't worry about that. All right, last shout out. Cynthia Wilson just became a member. Love you, Cynthia. Rebecca Phillips, YouTube, thank you for using YouTube Super Chat. Tilak Kamath, I've been looking forward to calling you out the whole time. I saw your name as a member. And thank you for using YouTube Super Chat. And Big in 328, thank you for becoming a member. Like I said, join button right below. Jessica Hua, thank you. Hua, thank you for being a member. Join button's right below if you're watching on YouTube. If you're not, if you're watching this somewhere else, tyt.com/join. Adrian, thanks for being a member. James, you as well. I'm excited. Don't worry about this tweet. He can't make it happen. And we got a giant show for you guys tonight at 6 o'clock. As always, 5:30 is the interview. 6 o'clock is Young Turks. Robert F. Harris Jr., we love you too. Thank you for being a member. Anna and others got a great show for you. They'll probably talk about this and others as well and give you more details tonight live. Always watch the live show. We have so much fun in clips that you don't even see on YouTube during the live show. And that's another good reason to be a member. All right. Love you guys.